For over 20 years, I've dedicated my life to bringing you the very best selling, marketing, and business building strategies to keep your business thriving. Get ready to experience the success you've been searching for. Welcome to the Tom Ferry Show. Welcome to the Tom Ferry Show, episode 35. Today, I'd like to offer some coaching around one of the areas that people really don't want to talk about, and yet it's the one area that as we become more responsible, as we become more focused, it becomes a life game changer. So today we're talking about how do we become financially unstoppable. A few weeks back at our Success Summit, I shared some of these same strategies and watched more people taking photos and taking more notes than arguably any session I did. And I would love to share that same information quickly with you here on the Tom Ferry Show. Now, we know that there's been statements from people like Warren Buffett that say, in the last 3 years, there's been more millionaires created than in the last 100 years. So we know that the market continues to improve. Even though we had a little stock market hiccup in the US, things overall have been arguably better since 2010. And even though we had a slow growing economy, we're still going in the right direction, which means abundance is everywhere and opportunity is everywhere. And yet, when you talk to the baby boomers, they're all saying the same thing. We're all living longer and we didn't save enough money. The fear is that they will actually live longer than their money. And that's a scary thought. I was once told by one of my mentors that 80% of every person, so imagine this, you get out of high school, you get out of college, you go to work and you spend 40, 50 years in your career. And when they get to the age of retirement, they get there flat broke. Think about that. Looking to their family or the government just for basic survival. To me, that's just a sad, sad thought. And yet, 80%, where 15% live sort of that millionaire next door lifestyle. They're comfortable, they paid off their home, they've got a decent net worth, they've got some money coming in, they're set, they're taken care of, and then 5% are creating this generational wealth. They made investments, they bought properties, they did all the right things, they took care of themselves, and now their families will be taken care of. Now, as we have this conversation, I would ask you to just think for a second, why is that? Why is it that, we go to school, we get these educations, we have all this opportunity, all this abundance everywhere. My goodness, you can just go on YouTube today and type in how to become a millionaire or a billionaire, and there'll probably be 5 zillion videos on it. And yet, information isn't enough. Why is it that 80% end up flat broke? Why is it that 15 and 5 end up with all the opportunities? Were they just born on the better side of the street? I don't think so. Did they get a better education? I know a whole bunch of C, D, and F students that are running major companies today. So we know education isn't the great degree of separation. I believe the biggest reason is first, awareness, second, a plan, and third, they created some accountability. So let's talk about it. You ready? If I was sitting down with you one-on-one, we're having a cup of coffee or, sitting in my office, and you said to me, all right, Tom, I'm in this business. I want to do something great. I want to become financially unstoppable. What's the first piece of advice? I would say to you, do a forecast over the next 10 years. Now, listen, I'm a business person. I'm very mindful of, even a 3-year forecast of my business. But when we're talking about our income, the opportunity. We need a vision to live into. We need to be able to say, in the next 10 years, this is my direction or something better, and we know there'll be a hiccup in the middle of it all. But for the sake of the exercise, I want you to write down your income in 2015 and then forecast. You're going to have 20% more, 30% more, 100% more. It's entirely up to you. That's the beauty of being in the business that you're in. You get to decide and then create a plan around it. So you decide all the way down to 2024, the next 10 years, how much income you're going to create. Then I ask you to total it. Let's just say, for an example, it's $10 million. And I'm just using that because it's an easy number. 35% goes to tax, 3.5 million. 25% goes to run my business, 2.5 million, 25% to run my home, to take care of the family, to do all the things I want to do, leaving me with $1.5 million saved, $1.5 million invested. And the first question I'd ask you is, look, you got to pay your taxes. That's the game. And I'm being kind of generous with only a 35% taxation, 25% to run your business, right? To operate your business, to maintain all the things you're doing, 25% to take care of the family and do all that stuff, pay your rent, pay your mortgage, pay your car, all that good stuff. and 15% to save and invest. This is just an example, but the question is it enough? Is it enough? I watched 4,000 people sit in that room at the summit, and when they completed this exercise, most of them were scratching their heads thinking, I need to make some adjustments here, or I need to make adjustments here. I've got to create more income. You sit in a unique position that you get to decide exactly how much money you want to create. You can write the service plan and the marketing plan and go out and write your own paycheck every single day. That's the gift of being in this business. So is it enough? Take the time, pause this, do this exercise, and then look at the second thing. There's 3 different types of real estate professionals today. And again, I'm going to reference the 80, 15, and 5 as sort of a metaphorical tie-in to how I perceive both what's happening in our country in terms of our finances, as well as what's happening in the real estate space. So agent A, they get a check, yay, a closing, and it goes into a personal account and they just start spending. And you know this because it happens every day. You get the check and woohoo, right? Oh, I'm gonna go get a new car because my lease is up. And then, oh, mama needs a new pair of shoes. And then I'm gonna go do this. And oh, I got this opportunity. Oh, we're gonna go on a trip. And oh my God, I should do some marketing. And oh, maybe I'll get that new website. This is totally exciting. Oh, taxes. Oh, next whole check, taxes. And that's how the typical real estate professional operates their finances today. Now, I don't think that's a very good option. I don't think you believe it's a good option. Let's look at the second type of agent. And by the way, remember 80% ending up flat broke. The second type of agent. B, a check comes in. It goes into their business account. Now this assumes that they've got some kind of corporation, LLC, C Corp, S Corp. You decide. I'm not a financial planner. I'm just bringing you the information. You're going to go back to your team and figure out the right move for you. But I know it comes into a business account. Automatically 35% goes into your tax account because you don't want to be thinking, I just got a $10,000 paycheck. No, you got $7,500 because $3,500, I actually added that up wrong, you got the balance, goes into your tax account, right? 65 over here. Then I'm gonna have a percentage of it that goes to run my business, right? I've got my coach, I've got my marketing, I've got my assistant, I've got all these things that I'm doing, and a percentage of every check you decide is allocated to run your business, and then the balance goes to your home account, your personal account. And by the way, you could be on Bank of America, Wells, Chase, any one of the major banks out there. There's only 4 big banks left. Any one of these is going to show you the same thing right there on your screen, transfer money to, move it around to, and then you run your home. Now, what we know is just this basic level of responsibility is what creates that 15%. That person that's a little more aware about the money that's coming in, paying their taxes, not having to be reactionary, putting some money aside, operating their business right. They're a little more organized. And look at the impact of just being a little more organized. But that's not what you want. That's not why you're watching the Tom Ferry Show. Let's get to the good stuff. You ready? Here is a sample. Sample, sample, sample. Warning, warning, whoop, 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 warning. This is a sample. I am not a CPA, just as I said to all those people at the summit. I'm just giving you an idea, a blueprint for you to do your research on and think about what's right for you. But again, ready? 5%. See, what I know about the wealthiest people is they don't have to think about it. Things are turnkey, things are automatic, things are set up. The structure is in place for them to save, to invest, and to create wealth. The structure is in place, which means they took the time to decide, how do I want the framework of my finances to be? So here's an example of that. Checks come in. They go to your operating account. Again, whatever your percentage is goes over to your tax account. A percentage goes back into my business to run my business. That's my business account. Then I've got money that goes into the home to make sure that everything is taken care of. But then here's where it gets interesting. The wealthiest people I know have their sort of investment quarterback account as an example. And this is where a percentage is going to go to my fun account. You're just going to set aside money for fun, right? It's almost like I'm going to be disciplined. I'm going to, really be mindful about my finances, and I'm going to put aside this money, and it's free for me to go do whatever I want. Now, this is how, I'm going to go back to this. You ready? Back to that second group. Hold on real fast here. This agent, this is your fun account. Like the money comes in and it's just a constant reaction to whatever's going on next. And if there's no major trauma, no major problem, what I see is people just start buying stuff. They just start, doing things that they shouldn't be doing because there is no plan. So I just want to stress to you, fun account, really important for all of us. Then maybe you've got a real estate account where you're just saying, I'm just going to put aside 10% of every dollar that comes in is just going to go towards buying more real estate. And once I get to a certain amount, then I go buy that property. I'm going to have my retirement account and all the different options, SEP and IRA and all that good stuff, right? I'm not a financial planner. You decide, but some kind of retirement account. Maybe you're buying bonds, maybe you're buying stocks from your market account. If you've got kids that are going to college, right? We set up early on that 529B account. So automatically saving money for kids for college. And then if they decide not to go, guess who gets the money? Woohoo! Right? And then you've got your cash account. So here's just a simple example. Now, obviously, when you contrast this back to this one doesn't take any time. This one doesn't take any thinking. This is very much what I would call your finances in a coma. Boop, 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 barely alive. This one took some concentration, took some thought, right? To say, how do I want my life to be? How do I want to get this organized? I know if you're like this hardcore artist, rock star salesperson, you're like, I just want somebody to do it for me. I just want somebody to do it for me. Shut up. Okay, shut up. This is your money. You got to be responsible. And for my hardcore operators, you're like, yes, exactly, Tom. Matter of fact, there's 5 different other things you've already forgot about. I know. It's just a sample. The game is this. The market's good, and every economic sign that I'm seeing says it's going to be good for another 4 to 5 years. Why not put yourself in a situation over the next 4 to 5 years to be set financially, or at least one step closer? That's your assignment. That's what I want you to do. So here's some additional coaching. The first thing I wrote down is make a declaration. When you finally stop and say, hello, my name is Tom, and I choose to have a net worth of X, right? This is my declaration. I've not been very financially responsible, but starting today, I'm going to be financially responsible. I can't tell you how good it makes me feel when I get a phone call from someone saying, I took your advice, right? We took all of our debts and we organized them and we put them all in our bathroom. This is something I've told people to do for years because it's a place where you go every day and it's up and visual and it reminds you, here's all your debts. Let's get debt free and let's get cash saved because we know the level of security that provides for everybody on the planet. But you got to start with that declaration, like enough is enough. And by the way, if you get angry about it, that's better. If you're sitting in a sales meeting right now, big shout out to the leader for being the kind of person that would play this in front of everybody. So clap it up for the leader. And if you're sitting by yourself on a subway watching this with your iPhone on or your headset on, make a declaration. Stand up right now and say, enough is enough. I am a part of the most abundant opportunity on the planet called real estate, and I can write my own check, but if I'm not going to be responsible, I'm going to end up in that 80% group, and that's a bad choice. That's your first one. Second one, decide on a 1, 3, 5, 10-year plan. And by the way, inside this, you can also get into asset allocation. You could say, I want 25% of my holdings in cash, 25% in the market. Maybe I want 50% in real estate. Maybe you want to buy other businesses, own a couple gas stations. It's your life, it's your finances. You got to decide how you want it to be. Number 3, you got to create accountability and structure, right? You've got to create the structure like I did with a sort of banking model, but the structure is I've got accountability, I've got people in my life that are holding me to following through on this plan. Structure and accountability. Number 4, you got to build your finance and wealth team. Consider, as your wealth grows and as your maturity grows, the advisors you have, in many cases, have to grow as well. The most important advisor in the very beginning is a great CPA, someone that understands the rules of taxes today and can help you make good decisions. I always love, I get these phone calls, Eddie, like, my tax accountant is super conservative. I'm like, that's probably a good thing because you're super not conservative, so you balance each other out. What I would caution you on is if Uncle Larry's doing your taxes and you're the only person he does them for, he might not be up to today's code, if you will. So make sure you interview and find the right CPA who can help you make good decisions and put yourself in no harm's way, if you will, when it comes to your taxes. So build your team. Number 5, keep learning. I was just on the site yesterday, bettermoneyhabits.com. The Khan Academy and Bank of America got together, did some education, all free. Love it. Bettermoneyhabits.com, or just go to YouTube and type in creating wealth and opportunities. It's all available. The more time you spend educating yourself, the more informed you are, the more empowered you are to make good decisions. And the last one is, by all means, keep making more money, right? Keep making more money. You're not the millionaire next door who's on a fixed income situation. Instead, you get to write your own check. So set big goals, be aggressive, take massive action, and become financially unstoppable. Thank you so much for watching. And by the way, this might be the video out of 35 I've done so far that you send to all your friends, because they might need to hear this. They might need to hear this too. Thanks so much for watching. Remember always, your strategy matters, and now more than ever, your money decisions really rule. Thanks for watching. If you love what you're seeing here, then click the button below to join our online community absolutely free. Thanks so much.